an interesting experience yesterday landing. I wanted to go to Deer Mountain and do the hiking, which is 3,000 feet. And I talked to a couple people, and both of them were kind of negative about going because of the time it would take to get there and all that. And so I sort of decided against it. But as I was walking around, I was being pulled toward going there anyway. And so I just went. And there was a very large hill, and of course the trek up the mountain is straight up with rocks and all that kind of stuff, and a difficult hike. And I did that, but as I was doing that, even it was like I was thinking, well, I have to make sure I can make it back to the boat on time. And I was surprised that with the work that I do on myself, that my focus in that situation, from deciding to go and then asking questions about going there, and the negative information that was coming back, or the resistant information, like maybe that's not a good idea because of the time and that sort of thing. And even when I was taking the hike, that I was concerned about making it back to the ship on time, that all of that was taking me out of the joy of the experience. And with the work that I work on myself, that...
Well, here's the thing. You do better work sometimes than others, and sometimes you do your vortex work first and then follow the inspiration. And this is an example, and you hear us talk about this frequently, that when you make a decision, line up with it. In other words, if you decide that you're going to go, then line up with the idea of going before you go. And in this situation, you can feel that you wanted to go and you thought you would go, and then but you must not have been completely lined up, because the manifestation of those who were discouraging about it was in your mix. In other words, you wouldn't attract someone telling you that it's not a good idea if it's something that you're really lined up with. So the manifestation of that information sort of caused your vibration to be a little muddier still than it was. And then you did what a lot of people do. No, I'm going to go. You sort of established a sort of determination. I said I was going to go. I wanted to go. I'm not going to let somebody discourage me. I'm still going to go. But it was not a complete lining up with it before you went. And so the experience was not an off-the-wall experience of elation and alignment and precision and powerful rendezvous with all kinds of wonderful things, because you took action before you had come into alignment. And that's the thing that's so interesting about being physical. Bless your hearts. Your physical experience has so much of your attention, so it factors in a very big way. It's hard to not let the conversation or even the lack of alignment factor into where you are. So that's why we're saying on a ridiculously regular basis to line up with it first and then do it and then watch what happens. But don't you like having an experience that is so vivid? Didn't you appreciate hearing this experience from him? And haven't you had experiences like that yourself on endless occasions, where you did it because it was on your list, you did it because you said you were going to do it, you did it because it's such an it's so easy. We love you so much to be lazy about your alignment. It is the easiest thing in the world to be lazy about alignment. It's the easiest thing in the world to do it because you said you were going to do it because it's on the list, do it because you bought the ticket, do it because somebody else wants you to do it because you made a previous plan, do it because you don't want to disappoint somebody, do it because you should do it because it's the way you were taught, do it because it's the determination, do it because the government expects it, do it because it's the law of the land, do it. You're doing it for all kinds of reasons, short of doing it because you're in alignment with the idea of it. You see?
It was interesting to see, going through that process, how sometimes, my focus wasn't as clear as I thought it was. As a matter of fact, I work on my focus.
Well, how else do you know? How else do you hone your skill other than setting forth an intention and going for it and then having a manifestation that lets you know how you're doing? In other words, have you ever heard us say, sit in your chair and line up with your vortex and don't do anything until the vortex draw? In other words, that's not the message here. How do you say that to your child? Now, you can't walk yet. And someday you're going to be able to walk, but I never ever want to see you stumble. I don't want to see you crawl. I don't want to see you hanging on the furniture. I don't want to witness you gaining your balance. I want you to sit there and contemplate it. Watch the rest of us see how we walk. We walk. Pay attention, set your goals, and when you're ready, do it, but do not wobble.
Yes. It was a key. It was an inspiration to at least give attention to my walk on a more frequent
we think
basis.
it's wonderful to follow through with what you say you're going to do. We think it's wonderful to keep your commitments to yourself. We think it's wonderful to test your boundaries and see where you're at. In other words, this seminar isn't about pulling back from manifestation. This isn't about no longer offering action. This is about a deliberate integration of utilizing the power that creates worlds in a meaningful way. And in order to learn to focus that powerful energy, you got to focus the powerful energy. You don't go to a shooting range with a bow and arrow or even a rifle and expect to hit the bullseye the first time. You have to hit not the bullseye. You have to figure out, that's the way you figure out how it goes, you see. And so our primary encouragement to you is don't be hard on yourself ever about anything ever. Always look for the benefit. Always look for the positive aspect. Always look for the game that you established. Always look for the clarity that came. Always try to feel about yourself as the source within you feels about you. And so here is the source within you version of what took place. We're speaking from your inner being's perspective about you. You decided that you were going to do something that you knew you would like to do before you were sure that you were completely ready to pull it off in a wonderful, perfect way. But because your desire to expand and because your desire to feel good is so strong, you're willing to go for it, which is exactly the reason that you came forth into this physical body to begin with. Because you understand that out of every exposure to every particle of life comes greater clarity about who you are and what you want. And so anytime you have a slightly less than satisfying experience, all it does is put into your vortex your intention to have a greater satisfying experience. And here is the thing that we want you to hear in the most powerful way from us. You never said, and we never said, and it was never your intention or ours, and we will never hold you to a perfect moment in time. Because there is never a perfect moment in time. There is always just the expanding into the more. And it is the expansion that is the prize. It's the reaching for it that is the prize. It's the fact that you're still saying, I want to create an even more exhilarating moment in time. Absolutely. And I know I have the potential of doing it. Absolutely. But don't let yourself slip into disappointment of not having done it yet. Because it is the reaching for it that is what keeps all of this moving forward, you see. So what did we just say? Be easy on yourself. What did we just say? Lighten up. Don't make such a big hairy deal about all of this. And you might very well say the same thing to us. Well, Abraham, you're the one that keeps coming up with more processes. Good time for a segment of refreshment.